What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Couch Fanatic Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Noah Domangue, and this is episode 4. Before we get into it, I just want to kind of promote a few things. Number one, we have our YouTube channel at Couch Fanatic Sports Podcast. Some of you might be watching the YouTube video right now of this podcast. Go check that out. Like and subscribe to the videos. Secondly, go find us at social media. All of our social media is Couch Fanatic Sports Podcast. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Couch Fanatic Sports is where you can find us on all those social media accounts, such as Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all this other stuff. You can follow us on Twitch at Noah_Domangue. We stream every night, usually around 9, between 9 and 10. We have a lot of fun over there. That's probably my favorite part of all this, so go give that a check out. Today we're going to dig into some LSU talk, probably a lot of LSU talk with recent rumors. We're going to talk some Ohio State, Michigan. We're going to talk what they should do about that. We're going to get into some MLB stuff, and then we're going to round it up with some NFL. So we got a loaded show, so you might as well just jump right in. So first, I have one question for the LSU Football Program. Are you a championship program, or are you not? Because right now, you are at a crossroads. You're at a crossroads with the future of your program, and I'm done with the excuses. I've made them for you. I've given LSU football a pass this year, and I shouldn't have, because of everything that came out on Monday night. We're recording this on Tuesday, by the way. Tuesday night around 6:32. So we started this around 6:30. It's going to come out on Thursday when you're listening to this. So, everything that came out on Monday night is the reason why I should have never gave them a pass. In case you may be unaware, there were some rumors that came swirling on Monday. And it came and stayed and swirled and got faster and stronger. Like, it got stronger faster than a hurricane. Like the little blow up of Katrina, how it went from a 1 to a 5 within a couple, night or two. That's how fast this grew. So the rumor was that Eric Gilbert, our 5-star freshman tight end, who's awesome, like the next Calvin Johnson, Megatron type prospect. Rumor has it he wants out. Rumor has it he is homesick. He misses his mom. It's his first time being away. He misses his family. He wants to go back home to Georgia. He wants to transfer. He's going to opt out and transfer soon. He missed practice on Monday, and that's why. Then the rumors kept going from there. We heard different reasons why he wants out. I don't know how much credit these rumors have. No one else really addressed this, so I'm not even going to spit them out. I feel like it's just people talking just to talk to try and get attention. And we're not going to ever defame someone's name here, especially when every single person discredited it. So we're never going to talk about it. But at first it was a little scary. So then it comes out that he's not the only one that wants out. BJ Ojulari, I think he was a 4-star defensive end, number 1 player in Tennessee. He was actually Eric Gilbert's teammate. They came to LSU together. He also wants out. So you're saying, hold up, what? And then the names keep coming. All these young guys, all these recruits, they want out. They're decommitting. They want out. They want to leave. They want to opt out of the season. They want to transfer. And then everybody's like, well, what is going on right here? All of a sudden you sneak in. Derek Stingley might be looking elsewhere. Derek Stingley might just opt out of next season altogether and just skip his junior year and just take the year off for the draft. Then you hear a rumor saying, no, he wants to transfer. Then you hear a rumor saying that, oh, by the way, Miles Brennan may never play football again. And that all happened within a span of 7 minutes. Within 7 minutes of the Eric Gilbert stuff coming out. I think with 247 is who, 24/7 Sports. I think that's who reported it first. Within 7 minutes of that coming out, this happened. Okay. Seems like just kind of a whirlwind. Seems like there's a lot of lies, a lot of falsehoods in there. The scary part is if that many people hopped on it that fast, there almost has to be some sort of truth to it. If all the media people knew this, there's so much smoke, there has to be a fire somewhere. So then we learn Coach O lost the locker room. Coach O, the guys don't want to play for him anymore. He's just kind of talking to nothingness. Like, the guys aren't fired up for him. They don't want to play for him. They don't like Coach O anymore. So, number one, if that is true, Coach O needs to boot, right? Coach O needs to be fired. If that's true, if that's the case, it's not. We know this now. But Coach O would need to be fired. In fact, I even tweeted it out saying, if Coach O lost the locker room and everyone wants out and no one wants to play at LSU anymore, they need to fire him today and throw the biggest bag in human history at Urban Meyer and go get him and make him come coach us. Turn us in to what he did for Ohio State. Compete against Saban. Go make LSU. Go do what you do. My point still stands. If O did lose the locker room, if these guys want to leave because of him, he does need to be fired. That his entire job is to have control of the locker room. That's his job. His job is to recruit, 1, 2, motivate, and 3, hire the best coordinators in the country possible. So far, he has done 0 out of those 3 this year. He hired Bo Pelini, so you already messed up the second one. If he lost the locker room, if the guys don't want to play for him, then he's not motivating. And then 3, recruiting, it's kind of a normal LSU recruiting class. There's no 5 stars, or there might be one. Like, this isn't this top class that everyone was dreaming of last year. Everybody last year was talking about, hey, we're going to have a top 1 or 2 class next couple years coming up. We're going to be dominant. We're going to be Bama. Then last year happens, this best team in college football history. Joe Burrow leading the boys. You got Joe Brady and Dave Aranda, the 2 best coordinators in the country. You got Coach O at the helm recruiting everybody and motivating everybody, preaching this one team, one heartbeat unity motto. It was the perfect storm. We go to Alabama. We beat them on their field. We beat them worse than what the final score suggests. We start posting stuff from the locker room. Roll Tide, what F you. We're going to dominate them. This is our field now. We're going to dominate them in recruiting. We're going to dominate them in people wanting to be here and wins and championships. And this is starting now, starting today. And then Bama comes to your house and beats you down 55-14. You give up 45 points to Bama in the first half. You didn't get 1 stop. Every single time Bama touched the ball in the first half, you let them score. I thought you were going to dominate Bama. If you're going to say it, say it. I loved it. I loved it when it first came out because I didn't think this was going to happen. I thought we were a championship program, and that's where I messed up. I shouldn't have thought that. I should have never thought that LSU would be what they are claiming to be. Because after that, they got real high and mighty. They started saying, we are like Clemson and Ohio State and Bama. We are that now. Well, guess what? You're not. Because this would never happen at Bama, what's happening this year. And I'm done making excuses because I've given every excuse in the book. Losing 18 starters, that's a big deal. Losing your 2 coordinators, the best 2 coordinators in the country, that's a big deal. Losing Joe Burrow, of all people. Having 5 people drafted in the first round and then 2 or 3 first-rounders from this year opt out. Those are big deals, right? You're losing guys. Championship program, they don't win 3 games in a season. And I get it, COVID, it prevented this. It prevented Bo Pelini from getting established with the players or the practice time with the young guys. We have a really young roster. Miles Brennan got hurt. All this other stuff. Miles Brennan got hurt, and we still lost on the road to Missouri. Offense put up 40-something points on the road to Missouri, and we still lost. That's not an LSU defense out there. There's no linebackers out there. Have you seen one linebacker on this team this year? I haven't. I haven't seen a single guy. And it sucks to say. Because, they're still, at the end of the day, they're still children out there, so I don't want to dog them out. But we don't have a linebacker on our team. And then Matt Moscona with ESPN made this point. LSU's struggling to find a single linebacker on the roster, while Bama's got 3 guys from Baton Rouge starting, dominating us. I think that's what hurt the most. The amount of Baton Rouge and local boys that they got over there at Bama that dominate us. Devontae Smith, the guy who tears us up, he's from Amite. Did you know that? Did you know Dylan Moses, their first-round linebacker, literally played on LSU's campus at U High? Did you know another starting linebacker on their team also went to U High? And then the third one went to Baton Rouge? I mean, he lived in Baton Rouge. I don't know what school he went to. Like, did y'all know that? The guys that tore us up all game long are guys that should have been in purple and gold. People that grew up on LSU's campus. And that's the problem. Saban doesn't let their best people leave the state of Alabama. And then he still comes to Louisiana and takes what he wants. Louisiana has some of the best athletes in the nation. Regardless of what you think, regardless of what you believe, it's true. Every sport. Louisiana has some of the best athletes. Louisiana, Georgia, Texas, California. Those schools, those states have the best athletes in the country. Yet, who's good in those states? Oh, wait. Seriously. Who's the best football program in Texas? A&M? When was the last time they won a championship? Louisiana? LSU's won 3 since 2000. That's very good. It's the most besides Bama. But, the amount of talent that we have doesn't correlate to the type of success we have, because in between championships, we'll have 7 and 5 seasons regularly. We haven't won a baseball national championship since 2009, and before that, it was since Skip. California? What college in California is any type of good at any sport? Nobody, right? Georgia's only decent at football, and still they can't get over the hump. We're letting other places come in and take the best athletes in our states at will, taking whoever they want. And that's the problem, and that's the root of it. And in case y'all didn't notice, Saban was real mad in that game. He was out for blood, and he was out to prove something, because they went for it on 4th down. And the announcer was like, whoa, Bama's going for it on 4th and 3 here. Bama never goes for it on 4th down. They went for it twice all year. And they went for it on us. Also, for the love of God, Bo Pelini. Oh, they got the 4th down, by the way, in the first half. And then scored 2 plays later. Why is Derek Stingley not on Smitty? You have their best receiver who's tore you up last year and this year, tearing you up, and you have Cordell Flott on him. Put your best guy on their best guy, and if you lose the battle, that's okay, because that's all you could do. But you have the best cornerback in college football. Let him guard Smith. Let him guard Devontae Smith. If he can't, oh well. We tried our best. We put our best versus their best. They beat us. Nothing you can do about it. Instead, I have to watch Devontae Smith score 3 touchdowns. In the first half. That's the key point here. In the first half, he scored 3 touchdowns against LSU. And that's the problem. So, at the end of the day, LSU, you have to decide now if you're a championship program. Because if you let those guys walk out the door like they're saying, this is going to set your program back by 5 years. The amount of names that I saw, the amount of big names that I saw talking about leaving, that'll set your program back 5 years, especially with you only being able to sign 25 guys per class because you have no depth. What happened in Ole Miss whenever they had all the sanctions and suspensions from the NCAA, that's going to happen to us. Except it won't be NCAA putting it on us, it would be ourselves. And also, one other point that I would like to point out, don't know if there's anything to it, probably still has to be talked about. People started opting out, and all this news is starting to come out as the investigation for all the sexual assault stuff is coming out. I don't know if there's anything to it. It might be coincidental. Might be a coincidence. I don't know. But I think it's still something you have to talk about, because coincidence or not, it looks fishy. It doesn't look good, because it looks like, they found something, they know they're going to find it. I need to get out now. Who knows? It might be nothing, we may never know, but I don't like the timing of it. Anyways, just moving on. To a lighter subject. A few weeks back, whenever Ohio State's game was canceled with, I want to say, Maryland? Something like that. It was announced that they had to play out the remainder of their schedule. They couldn't miss another game, or they wouldn't be able to qualify for the Big Ten Championship game because they wouldn't reach the 6 games requirement. I made a joke back then saying, I see Michigan on that schedule. How bad do you hate your rival? How do you hate your rival enough to cancel the game on them because of COVID concerns to make sure that they couldn't get into the Big Ten Championship game or the playoff? Because you're not getting into the college football playoffs with 5-0 or 6-0 without a conference title. It's just not going to happen. Fast forward to Tuesday, today, December 8th, we find out that Michigan canceled the game because of COVID. And oh my gosh, it's hilarious, right? Like, it's hilarious. Like, they canceled the game last week because of COVID concerns, presumptive cases, right? But it's like, it's really funny that this like ended up happening. And now unless something changes, which I can't see how it can, because the Big Ten commissioner was very strict about the whole no non-conference games, right? So, I want to see what happens. I want to see if I really want to know what comes out of this. I wonder if the Big Ten will let them get an exception, because they know, like, if Ohio State doesn't play another game and they can't go to the Big Ten championship, they're not going to be in the playoffs. Big Ten won't have a representative. So then my brain started to spin the wheels. You know who else had a game canceled on this week? Texas A&M. Texas A&M's a number 5 team in the country. Ohio State's number 4. Why not let them play each other? And I know. Oh, no, logistically, it's going to be very hard to do. Figure it out. Really, figure it out. Go to a neutral site game somewhere between the two. I don't know. Kansas City, maybe. Did the Chiefs play at home on Sunday? I don't know. Let's go see. I literally have no idea whatsoever, so now I'm curious. You go to a neutral site game, allow no fans, and then both teams are at the same exact. Chiefs are on the road. This is working. You let them play there. You let them play in Kansas City. Neutral site game. No fans. Both teams get the same amount of time to prepare for each other. You play on Saturday. You find out on Wednesday. So you get your 3 or 4 days. And, I mean, both teams are at a disadvantage. Neither team can complain. And it's how bad do you want to play? How bad do you want to make the playoffs? Because if Ohio State wins this game, they get a top 5 win on their resume. Neutral site game, plus their win over Indiana, plus they make the Big Ten Championship game, get to play. Who do they get to play? Northwestern. They get to play Northwestern, who's a top 10 team. Go beat Northwestern. They're in the playoffs. That 7-0 with Indiana, Northwestern, and Texas A&M victories get you in the playoffs. In a conference championship, you know what doesn't get you in the playoffs is if you don't play a game, you're 5-0, you go play Iowa. Now you're 6-0, you don't get a conference championship game. 6-0 with a win over Indiana, and that's it. No conference championship. That's not getting you in the playoffs. Vice versa, A&M needs one of the top 4 teams to lose to get in, right? Scratch that. They really need Clemson to lose, or Ohio State. Because Bama beat them, they're going to get in. Bama's going to get in over A&M. Notre Dame, if they lose, I don't know how you don't put them in because they already beat Clemson. Their only loss would be to Clemson. So I don't know how you can put Clemson in over them if they both beat each other, regardless of Trevor Lawrence playing or not. Let them play each other for the final spot. That's what it would be. It would be 5v4. Whoever wins this game pretty much locks up a playoff spot. A&M's resume would be good. They'd be 8-1, 9-1, something like that, with wins over Florida and Ohio State. It's a good resume. No matter how bad Bama beat them by, I mean, Bama's going to destroy everybody. They're going to win the championship this year. Nobody comes close to them. But at the end of the day, it still gets them to the dance. It's mutually beneficial for both teams, and it's basically a go out there and play man football. If you win the game, then you make it into the playoff. That's how it would go. And it's not like a guaranteed, like, oh, if you win, whoever wins gets a spot. Like, no, it's just, I mean, it's how it's going to work by the committee. Just knowing how they work, how they operate. I think it's a fun matchup. I feel like both teams should be advocating for it. And I know both the SEC and the Big Ten, both of them have said, under no circumstance will they allow a non-conference game where, you know what, this should be the circumstance, the one circumstance. If they have one circumstance, this should be it. Because the amount of views a Big Ten SEC 5v4 matchup would produce, that's like top level type ratings. Like, that would make so much money for all parties involved. And honestly, it just makes too much sense for it not to happen. So just do it. You know? Why not? Just do it. Get into a little MLB talk quickly. Can we please just add the universal DH already? The universal DH needs to be in baseball. If you don't agree with it, you're wrong. Universal DH would have been in baseball in 1977 if the Philadelphia Phillies owner would have showed up to the meeting and voted yes like he wanted to. He would have been the deciding vote. So let's give a backstory. In 1977, the National League was voting on if they should allow the DH in the National League. They needed a simple majority, 7 out of 12, to pass. They had 6 yeses, 4 no's, and 2 people didn't show up. Because of this, they couldn't pass it. One of the people that didn't show up was the Phillies owner, who was actively encouraging everyone to vote yes for it because it would drive up ticket sales because, quote, base hits are entertaining. People want to see hits. You're right, dude. You are so right. Like, yes, we want to see hits. We want to see homers. We want to see RBIs. But you know what? We don't get to see that because you went on a fishing trip and missed the vote. How did you do that? How did you miss the vote? The thing you were campaigning for. That would be like, running for president and then winning, like, the day of the election is whenever you, that's whenever you just go, like, on ghost. Like, instead of tweeting and encouraging people and, like, going on TV and, like, holding stuff. Or, like, that's like running for president and then not showing up to the final debate. Right? Like, it's crazy. It's, or, like, encouraging people not to go out and vote. Like, it's weird. Like, it's, like, something you wouldn't expect. But if Homeboy would have postponed his fishing trip for a day, we would have a DH right now. And every life would be normal. But instead, I get to watch pitchers get hurt trying to swing the bat for the first time since they're 14. I get to watch pitchers who aren't used to running and doing these pitchers are athletes, yes, but, like, they're not used to exploding. Like, it's different type of muscles. It's different type of explosion. Like, they're exploding off the mound. They're not used to pushing off a base or stepping off a base. And, like, people have messed up their knees and their ankles and Achilles, and people have ruined careers over this stuff. And you know what would suck? If, say you're a Mets fan, right? We're going to use Jacob deGrom, best pitcher in baseball. Imagine if Jacob deGrom tore his Achilles let's say he tore his Achilles, God forbid, in August, as you're about to make a playoff run. Like, you're a game out of the division, like, you're going for it, and then all of a sudden you can't make the playoffs. You miss the playoffs, you don't win the division because he tore his Achilles running the bases, and then he also misses the first however many months of the season, the first half of the season. He might not be fully healthy and, like, himself again until August. Or what if, like, Jacob deGrom gets up there? Are you just telling him to take 3 pitches right down the middle? Yeah, that's entertaining. That's fun. Or what if Jacob deGrom's at 78 pitches through 7 innings and you take him out because his spot in the lineup comes up with bases loaded, 1 out. And it's game's tied 0-0. He's at 78 pitches through 7 innings, no runs. And you have to decide right there saying, am I going to let him keep pitching because he's dominating? Or am I going to try and score a run? Why not have best of both worlds? Who would you rather swing the bat? Would you rather watch Justin Verlander hit, or do you want to see David Ortiz? Or Nelson Cruz? Or Edwin Encarnacion? Or JD Martinez? Or Marcelo Zuna? Like, these people who rake. Like, what would you rather see? Would you rather see 40-something homers a year with 1,000 OPS? Or do you want to go watch Clayton Kershaw hit 104 in a year? Like, if that. Oh, but Noah, what about the cool moments like the Bartolo homer? Okay, so we're not going to make the game better because of one cool moment 5 years ago? Like, you can miss me with that. You know why pitchers hitting a home run or getting hit is such a big deal? It's because it never happens. And that's what's wrong with it. That's why we need to change it. Because when something's wrong, you don't just say, well, that's wrong, out of our hands. Like, no, you go fix it. And how you fix this is you let the National League have a DH. It makes everyone's life better. It prolongs career. It adds jobs. Because if you give them a DH tomorrow, that adds 15 more jobs. Right there. For hitters to say, hey, you might not be great in the field, but we think you have 35 home run potential. Without the DH, David Ortiz probably retires 7 years earlier. Without the DH, these people, these superstars will retire earlier because they just can't do it anymore. They're too old. The DH also gives people an opportunity to get days off. It's like Mike Trout. You know that guy, right? Best player to ever played a game. Him and Barry Bonds on their own level together. 1 and 2. Mike Trout, him, that guy. If he's ever playing, if the Angels ever have a stretch where they play 20 games in 21 days, instead of not having the best player of all time play for a game to give him a day off, you can just throw him in a DH spot. Here, you need a day off. We don't want you running center field tonight. Last night we played 16 innings, didn't finish till midnight. We got a 12 a.m. Start tonight. 12 p.m. start today, like at noon. So just go out there, just go swing the bat 4 times, and we don't need you to play center today. Like, take a break. That's the type of stuff that prolongs careers. It's better for the game. It helps every party involved. It lets pitchers allow to focus on their craft. Oh, but what's next? We just make 9 DHs of 9 defenders and 9 offense, and you play like football? No, nobody said that. Because they're still ball players, but pitchers, they're a different animal. Like, you ever notice how in a clubhouse and on a team, the pitchers hang out with the pitchers, and the position players hang out with the position players? That's because they are not the same. They're not the same beasts. They don't deal with the same stuff every day. They have different jobs, and that's okay, right? That's okay to have different jobs. But it's not a pitcher's job to go there and hit. It's their job to pitch, first and foremost. And if Chris Sale, or who's your favorite pitcher? Say your pitcher's name right now. Okay, imagine that guy having to miss a full season because he tore his ACL on a base. Right? This sounds sucky, right? Imagine being a Yankees fan and Garrett Cole has to miss a full season because he slid back into third base wrong and tore his labrum because he hasn't had to be on the bases or slide since he was 12. These are the stuff that people don't think about. These are the stuff that can happen and has happened. Stephen Wright with the Red Sox was an all-star. Slid back into third, janked up his shoulder, janked up his knee when he was running, never pitched again. He was never healthy enough to pitch again. He was one of the Red Sox best pitchers that season, in the 2016 season, but he had to run bases in Dodger Stadium. Silly. It's what it is. Silly. And don't hit me with this strategy stuff, because giving someone a choice of stupid stuff does not mean it's strategic. Saying, hey, do you want your awesome pitcher to be able to still pitch, or do you want to be able to have someone hit for him? You can't have them both. Why? Why not? It sounds so dumb. It's so juvenile. And if you're an American League fan, you really get this. And if you're a National League fan, I don't know how you don't really get this. Because you look at the Red Sox and say, whoa, Chris Sale never has to swing a bat? JD Martinez does that for him? That's cool. Like, could you imagine that? Like, Braves fans, 10 years from now, when Freddie Freeman's like 36, do you want Freddie Freeman going out there and playing in the field every day? Or would you rather be able to let him just hit? That would be cool, just him hitting, right? Prolong his career. But, some people don't view it as that because some people are dumb. So we can just honestly get into the NFL talk now. So as always, we're going to start off with the Saints. Louisiana people, we're going to always start with the Louisiana teams. Unless we go to the point where it's a national type thing and people get upset about that. So, if you don't want to hear about it, just get every person you know to listen. Maybe we'll change. and every person they know and down the line. Yeah, you get it. Cross-pollination. So, first off, the Saints clinched a playoff spot. First team in the NFL to clinch with their victory over the Falcons on Sunday and the Bears' loss. You know, what ifs? It's not really a big deal. We're expecting that. However, they can clinch the division with a victory next week or a Tampa Bay loss. That gets the juices flowing. That gets it going, right? But right now, as the top team is in the NFC, what would really get it going is clinching that first round bye. And it looks like we're going to have to win out to do that. It's going off of who we have next on the schedule. We have the Eagles in these last 4 games. Eagles, Chiefs, Vikings, Panthers. Vikings on Christmas Day. It's not an easy stretch. Chiefs are the best team in football. I think the Saints are a close second. And I think there is a large gap between them and everyone else. I will also go as far as to say that the Saints are the most complete and most well-rounded team in football. Let me repeat that. The Saints are the best, most complete, and most well-rounded team in football. There are no flaws on the Saints. You can find a flaw on every single top team except for the Saints. Kansas City's defense is good enough to overcome. The Kansas City's offense is good enough to overcome their defensive flaws. The Packers' run defense is abysmal. The Packers' receiving options outside of Devontae Adams, not great. Packers' defense overall is not great. I'd love to match with the Packers again in the playoffs. And the Packers beat the Saints, but guess what? That was without Michael Thomas. That was when the defense was out of sync and committing 1,000 penalties a game. And now the defense is the best defense in the NFL in total yards and total defense. Best in the NFL. Right? That was before Drew Brees got accustomed to playing with Emmanuel Sanders. That wasn't the same Saints team as we're seeing now. Whenever I say the best team in the NFL, I'm not talking about, throughout the season. I'm talking since week 4 on, since this 9-game win streak started. They're the best team in football. And I don't care what your analyst or what you think. Oh, Patrick Mahomes. No, the Saints are better. The Saints need to go out there and beat everyone and win the Super Bowl for Drew and let him retire in the sunset. And they're capable of it because their defense is legit. They are scary. Their front 7 might be the best in football. And that's not just saying that. They legit. They've been top 5 run defense in the NFL over the last few years. And right now they're number 1. They're very good. The Dallas and Ravens game just started, so I'll kind of give updates as that goes on, right? But they're very, very good defense. Something we're not used to seeing. Then you see the offense start to really pick it up before Drew got hurt. And then even after Drew got hurt, they're still putting up points and moving the ball and doing what they got to do. Okay. Okay. Then you see Taysom Hill leading them to victories, going 3-0 so far without Drew, including beating the Falcons twice. You want some stats? I'll give you some stats. The Saints defense over the last 5 weeks have allowed 2 touchdowns. In that 5-week stretch, they played the Tom Brady-led offense of the Bucs that has Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, and everyone else from the 2012 All-Star team, right? They also played the Falcons twice. The Falcons, those 2 games that they didn't play them, Falcons played the Saints, scored 16 and 9 points those 2 games. The 2 games besides that, they scored in the 40s. The Falcons put up points. Their offense is good. They got shut down. The Broncos, we don't need to talk about that. The Broncos started a practice squad receiver at quarterback because of all the injuries. Still got shut down, but, whatever, it's handled business. Nothing to brag about. It's just, they went out there, they handled their business, they did what they had to do, and that's what led to the victory. And then also, they defeated Kyle Shanahan in offense, holding them to 13 points and 3 points in the second half. And I get it, the 49ers were depleted. 49ers also went out there and beat the Rams the next week. So even a depleted 49ers team is a good team because Kyle Shanahan is one of the best coaches in football. And he also has Robert Saleh, who's the best coordinator in football and who's going to be a really good head coach. The 49ers are still a good team. They're still a competitive